Have you ever felt like you were standing in front of a massive vault, knowing exactly what's inside, but the rest of the world hasn't even noticed the building yet? That is precisely where we are with Casper, CSPR. Right now, the smart money is quietly accumulating, while the average retail investor is distracted by the latest flashy meme coin. But here is the multi-million-dollar truth. Casper is arguably the most undervalued Layer 1 blockchain in the entire crypto space for one specific structural reason. It is a top-tier institutional powerhouse that is fundamentally missing from the world's largest liquidity spigots. We are talking about a project that is consistently ranked as a top 3 most staked blockchain, yet it hasn't even hit the main stage of Binance or Coinbase. This has created a massive high-tension coiled spring effect. When that vault door finally swings open and the Binance Bounce hits, the move won't just be a small jump. It could be the vertical rally that sends CSPR toward that legendary $1 mark. In a market full of noise, the biggest gains aren't found in what everyone is talking about today, but in the assets everyone will be fighting for tomorrow. Let's look at the cold hard data. If you go to any major analytical platform, you will see Casper sitting there with a massive staking ratio. At times over 45% of the entire circulating supply is locked up by believers. That is institutional level conviction. Yet, despite this massive security and community backing, Casper remains invisible to the 200 million users on Binance and the millions of retail traders on Coinbase. Why does this matter? Because availability is the ultimate catalyst for price discovery. Right now, buying CSPR requires jumping through hoops on smaller exchanges or DEXs. You are essentially seeing a world-class athlete competing in a local gym. The moment this asset is listed on a Tier 1 exchange, you aren't just adding a few buyers. You are opening a floodgate of billions in daily trading volume. We are currently in the pre-listing phase, the most profitable window for any investor who understands how cycle timing actually works. If a project is already on every major exchange, the easy money has already been made. The real wealth is generated by buying the rumor before the giants wake up. Is a $1 price target realistic? To answer that, we have to look at history, specifically the NKN example. For those who weren't around, NKN was a project with solid tech but zero major exchange presence, until the Binance listing and the introduction of Binance staking. What happened next? It wasn't just a 2x or a 3x. It was a staggering 60x pump as the combination of massive new liquidity and high-yield staking options created a supply shock. Casper is positioned for a trajectory that is even more explosive. Unlike NKN, Casper is an enterprise-grade blockchain with a $25 million grant program and partnerships that include the World Economic Forum. When the Binance Bounce occurs, it will be amplified by the fact that CSPR is already a staking giant. The market will suddenly realize they are chasing a shrinking supply of tokens, as more people buy just to stake and earn rewards. This double whammy of a listing and a supply lockup is the exact recipe for a parabolic move to $1. History doesn't always repeat, but in the world of exchange listings, it almost always rhymes with a massive green candle. We need to talk about cycle timing. Most people lose money in crypto because they buy at the top of the hype. But the staggeringly good returns are reserved for those who understand the liquidity cycle. Casper has spent the last year refining its tech, launching the Oslo version 2.1 upgrade, and implementing a 100% fee burn. It is now a faster, deflationary, and more secure network than it was at its all-time high. Essentially, the fundamental value has gone up while the price has consolidated. This creates a massive value gap. As we move deeper into the 2026 market cycle, the pressure for major exchanges to list high-quality, high-volume assets like Casper becomes unbearable. They want the fees, we want the price discovery. When these two interests align, the Binance Bounce becomes an inevitability. We aren't just betting on a coin, we are betting on the inevitable expansion of market access for one of the most technically superior chains in existence. The market is a machine that transfers money from the impatient to those who can see the big listing coming from a mile away. So how do you play this? You don't wait for the official tweet from Binance. By the time that notification hits your phone, the first 50% of the move is already gone. You have to buy the rumor while the sentiment is still quiet. This is exactly why you need a private group where we track these exchange movements and on-chain whale alerts in real time. We look for the wallets of interest that often move before a listing is finalized. Casper is a sleeping giant that is currently being suppressed by a lack of access. Once that barrier is removed, the path to $1 isn't just a possibility, it's the logical conclusion of its growth. The difference between a 2x and a 100x is often just a single announcement. The question is, will you be holding the bag or the winning ticket? The window for Casper at these levels is closing faster than most people realize. We are seeing a convergence of technical upgrades, ecosystem growth, and the inevitable liquidity event that defines every major altcoin success story. If you want to stay ahead of the curve and get the latest deep dives into these high-potential blockchain insights, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe. Information is the only edge you have in this market, and staying updated could be the difference between catching the Binance Bounce or watching it from the sidelines. Keep your eyes on the chart, your hands on your private keys, and stay tuned for the next update. Take full control of your crypto with Ledger Live. Manage thousands of coins and NFTs securely in one place. Buy, swap, stake, and grow your portfolio with ease. Trusted by 7+ million users, Ledger Live keeps your assets safe by integrating with Ledger hardware wallets for maximum security. Say goodbye to third-party risks and hello to true financial freedom. Download Ledger Live now. Click the link in the description to get started. Crypto taxes don't have to be a nightmare. Coinly calculates your taxes in under 20 minutes. No spreadsheets, no headaches. Sync your crypto assets with one click. Whether you're trading, staking, or using DeFi, import your trades, track your portfolio, and generate ready-to-file tax reports effortlessly. Join thousands who trust Coinly to simplify their crypto taxes. Make tax season stress-free. Click the link in the description to get started with Coinly today. The information contained herein is for entertainment purposes only. Nothing herein shall be construed to be financial, legal, investment, or tax advice. The content of this video is solely the opinions of the channel owner, who is not a licensed financial advisor or registered investment advisor. Trading cryptocurrencies poses a considerable risk of loss. Please use your best judgment when dealing with cryptocurrencies and don't invest money that you cannot afford to lose. The channel does not guarantee any particular outcome.